So that was a little thing we call slam. The true name is accent triplet accent, paradiddle diddle. Way too many words, so we just call it slam because of that first note. And what it does, it has a lot of vocabulary that we have in our music. So we put together an exercise because, how many drummers we got here? How many people? Come on, raise them up. My people. How many wind players we have here? What are you doing here? It's okay, well, you could hang out, it's all good. So what I want to do is I want to talk about our exercise program and what I think your school should be doing, all right? Because I consider our exercise program very basic, 8 on a hand, accent tap, double beat type of things. But what's important is I also think, why do we do 8 on a hand? Who knows? Shout it out. Warm up, that's the word. You warm up your hand, you also warm up your, you saw a muscle? All right, yeah. Yeah, you warm up your muscles too, right? That's how we do it. We start slow with 8 on a hand, nice legato strokes, get those muscles working. And we're gonna play you our version of 8 on a hand, and there's 4 different variations that we use. Mr. Sean Clark, our section leader of 3 years, 5 years in the snare line. Finally aging out. Here we go. And the crowd goes crazy. No, you don't clap for 8 on a hand. Come on. So what I like to do with our program and with other programs that I've worked with is not only do we have to train these muscles, our chop muscles, but we got to train this big muscle up here. How many of you guys play straight 8s? 8 on a hand, 8 on a hand, 8 on a hand, 8 on a hand. You know, when we do that, we go on like autopilot. We don't have to think. So that's why we do what we do, because I always have to think. So the brain's always working. This is getting warmed up as much as those guys and those guys. All right, those chops. So we're a big believer in that, and we're going to do a little test. Make sure none of these guys make a mistake. How many guys have been doing one of the clinics that we've done before, or one of the clinics that I've done before? Anybody? All right. Here we go. I'm going to clap a rhythm, 4 counts. 4 counts, and you're going to clap it back. Wind players? Come on, I had to. So the concentration level for 4 counts. That's what we're talking about. One more time. Come on, Indy, we could do this. Now, I guarantee you that last time you guys are going, don't be that guy, don't be that guy. Count, it's 4 counts. We gotta just get 4 counts. So that's the mindset that we need to get into when we do our exercise program. The concentration level has to be that high when you're playing every exercise you guys play. All right? The hardest thing we do in the marching percussion activity, how many times you guys play 8 on a hand in one season, in 1 year? How many times? Anybody know? Hundreds, thousands? I've never counted because it's way too many. All right? We play it a lot. And every time you play something, you have to play it better. Every time. So if you play 8 on a hand, say 8 times in a day, you gotta, every time it's gotta be better. Next day, it's gotta be better. Am I matching my sound with that guy next to me? My right hand the same sound as my left hand? Am I matching that volume? Is this touch the same? Is the stroke the same? It's a lot to think about. Tempo control. How was that tempo control last time they played it? It was not. It drugged like crazy. It slowed down so bad. Speaking of, I thought about having the Dr. Beat out here. You know, our friend that we have that goes, toot, 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 that drives us crazy, but it never lies. You know, it's a great tool that we use. But I wanted to spare our ears, because I know there's been a lot of noise where we've been for the last few days, so I didn't want to use a Dr. Beat. So we are going to make sure that we play everything in time and keep the tempo up a little bit more. And with that in mind, accents out. So the last piece of music that we're going to play for you is our closer, and we're going to do some of our body work that we do with that. Nowadays, obviously, it's not about standing still and drumming, it's about how hard can you make it, whether you're running or sprinting or dancing or doing whatever. And this was our percussion feature that we had in the show, and we have what we call lot style, as in parking lot style. And so we're going to show you our lot style of our little percussion feature as they reset. And so they kind of like simulate the drill that they would do on the field because the listening situation changes so much, and because of the physicality of what they do, it's better to do it obviously like they do in the show. And again, more reps they get on this, the better it's going to be. So here is our closer percussion feature, and we'll go through the snare modulation stuff and takum, pakum, pakum, pa, dom, dom, chom. There we go. So that's how we do our lot style. It's kind of, we can still do it in a small space, you know, but we're still simulating the drill that they would do when they were on the field marching it. Because a lot of times we don't have field time, so you try to figure out how to simulate the best you can visually what you're doing with the audio, so we can actually keep rehearsing that, because that listening situation changes dramatically when they're behind the tenors, in front of the tenors, tenors going back, basses the same thing. So that's hopefully something that everybody is doing nowadays. I know it's extremely popular with all drum lines in the parking lots now. And before we go on, because we're gonna play one more thing for you, but we're gonna wait till a few minutes so that you guys take them down a little bit. You can realize because they're so heavy. Questions? Have any questions for any of these guys? All right, myself, the staff, on anything Blue Devil related, System Blue related. We got any questions? Let me see your hand, and you got to shout it out. Yes. Good question. How long is our normal warm-up routine before we begin working on show music? Give or take, maybe a half hour to 45 minutes if we have the time. That's always the big if, you know. But we have a lot more exercises that we didn't play for you guys here. When we start the season before the music is even out, we have about 6, 7, 8 exercises. You know, a lot of different ones that we use all the time, and then we tailor that down as the season progresses because we need to work on the music more. So maybe we'll pick our top 5 or top 4 and whatever they need. You know, we talk to these guys a lot about, are you good? What do you want to play? You know, so it's on a good day, yeah, we like basics. We like to warm up a lot, at least 30 to 45 minutes if we have the time. Anybody else? Yeah. What is peaking? It's impossible to peak. It can always be better, I think. Okay, it can always be better. You guys ever peak too early? They don't even know what that means. Yeah, I mean, there's so much demand put on them now, especially from a physical standpoint. Back when I marched in the 70s, here was my drill. Nailed it. On the 50, that was it. I stayed there for the rest of the show. So we were able to probably peak earlier than these guys because we didn't have to do anything physical. These guys, the way they run around the field, there's always room to get better, right? Because they're flying so much from the physicality of everything they're doing. So I don't think it's possible to peak anymore, seriously. And we're extremely fortunate to have the talent that we get. You know, everyone says, how do Blue Devils stay so successful so long? Is it the staff? And I went, well, we get really talented people. You know, that helps us a lot. You know, so props, 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 props. Well, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. That's enough. Any more questions? What do we got? Back there. What do you all do to stay in shape when you're not at rehearsal or practicing? Anybody want to take this? Say money? Running. Yeah, it's, I mean, you look at these guys, the guys that I marched with couldn't do this. You know, they're athletes nowadays, and we call them musical athletes, because it's not just about performing the music, but you have to be extremely in good shape, obviously, to be able to pull the stuff off that we're asking them to do from a visual standpoint nowadays, right? As you can see, there's not too many. Old Deanna, she put on like, I think, an ounce over the summer. Yeah, there's not too many people that are in bad shape at all, other than the staff, all right, because we're old and we could do that. But they run, when we do rehearsals, and then they love it. They get personal training. They work their butts off. They run constantly every morning. You know, they'll run on a hike, and they stretch for about 45 minutes, and then we run before we even start touching the drums. You know, so it's very physical, and it's all about taking care of your body and being as healthy as you can too. So that helps a lot. And in the off season, they know what's coming when they show up. So the better shape they're in when they show up, obviously the easier that's going to be for them too.